Hi, and thank you for listening. This is Sherry Andrea. You can find me at sherryspeaks.com. Just to mention a couple of things. The psychic readings, the 30 minutes, is still on sale for $15. And I'm going to put all the links and everything in the description box, so don't worry about that. But of course, if you're looking for anything, you can find all the things that I talk about by just going to sherryspeaks.com. So the psychic readings are still on sale for $15 for 30 minutes. Then I know the last time I let you know that the introductory special for the energy clearing, the deep energy clearing by phone, was over. And so I've adjusted the price of it again because I'm trying to kind of find that place that works for you. So it's not $50, it's $35. So I'm trying to make it so that everybody can still afford it. So because many of you have been wanting to get it done monthly, so trying to help you out. So it's $35, and I will put the link to it, to my scheduler and everything. So if you want to schedule that, yeah, it's done over the phone. It's been very interesting. Even one of the last few that I did last week, what was really interesting is as I was, doing a checking their home, asking my higher self, okay, well, what's there? Is there any negative energy, entities left, anything like that? And once I got to asking, okay, other than angels and ascended masters and guides, is there anybody else there? Is there any spirits there? And I got a yes. And I was like, okay, well, let me look and see, who is this? And so this is where you're doing the energy clearing, but because of what you're coming across, yeah, you could almost say it kind of went from energy clearing to a little bit of a mix of mediumship in there. So it's always interesting to see what comes up, to see what comes up, what pops up, as I'm clearing people's auras, the things that I'm clearing from them, what they're connected to, what they have to do with. And then when the person asks me, okay, well, is this something, even during psychic reading, sometimes a person will just quickly ask me, well, can you look at my aura? And now, normally I don't do that during a psychic reading. That's not the place for it. The place for it is doing an energy clearing. But if I take a peek and I look and I'll say, well, I do see discoloration here, or there's a dark area, and I'll say what I'm picking up that I'm getting. And it's always interesting that it matches up with something they've had going on in their life or something that they've been dealing with. And then they'll ask me, well, is this something you can clear? Well, pretty much there's not too much I can't clear, but that's because, because of my skills. I'm not using Reiki to do clearings. I'm actually using my own God-given, energy work ability. So, yeah, there isn't too much that I've come across that I couldn't clear or that I couldn't bring to the surface or I couldn't transform in some way, shape, or form. So, of course, like I said, go ahead and you can schedule the energy clearing. I'll put the link in the description, and it's just $35. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for the updates. Okay, so let's get to it. What I wanted to discuss with you, and I don't really know if this video will take long or not. Well, let's see how it goes. Protection and abundance. Now, why I'm doing this video is because I'm starting to wonder, based on the psychic readings I'm having when I'm talking to you guys, and you guys are asking me questions like, how can I better protect myself? How can I keep myself clear? And I'm finding myself telling you things that I know I've talked about to death. And, it's starting to, of course, make me wonder. I'm like, okay, is everybody not only hearing me, but are you understanding me? So I wanted to say a couple of simple things. First of all, protection and abundance, it's not just a given. That's the way I would see it. It's not just a given. So if you're under the impression that, oh, well, everybody should be protected and have abundance just automatically off the bat, if that's the way you've been thinking and that's the way you've been thinking how it works, no, that's not how it works. It's not just a given. It's not unusual for somebody to come into this lifetime and never be at a low vibratory level, never let their vibrations get down too low, but for the most part, normally when people they start working on themselves, they start wanting to protect themselves, clear themselves, etc., that's usually when they begin a practice that's aimed at raising their vibrations, that's aimed at connecting them more to their higher self. So here's an example of it. Let's say you're like, oh, well, I make sure I meditate an hour a day, every day. I make sure I do an hour. I never do less than an hour. And you're proud of yourself because that's a good thing that you're doing, and it is. That's a good thing that you're doing. But I'm telling you right now, that meditation is not really going to help you much if you're also not doing the other things. It's like missing puzzle pieces. You put a puzzle together, you get to the end just to find out you're actually missing 5 pieces. So you can't complete it. So that end result isn't what you wanted it to be. So what I'm saying is that's great, but where are the other pieces? So if I say, okay, well, what's your daily spiritual work? And you just tell me about your meditation. And maybe you're like, oh, and then, I try to have a good attitude and be a good person, and I try to think positive thoughts. Well, you do know just thinking positive thoughts is not a spiritual practice. That's just trying to be a good person. That's just trying to be positive. That's not actually a spiritual practice. Come on, people. You gotta help me out here. You gotta work a little bit more than that. I mean, that's a good start. It's good to do that. It's good to have a positive attitude because you want to be a match for what you're trying to attract. You want to attract positive people in your life, of course. One of the best ways to do that is to be a positive person. But what I'm saying is that all you want? Or would you say to me, well, no, I actually want maybe spiritual and metaphysical advancement. I actually want to one day be a powerful energy healer. I actually want to one day use my abilities and they work well, easily. I want to get to that place. Well, if you do, then you need to do a little bit more than just sit and think, I'm a good person, so I should automatically have protection and abundance. Nope, doesn't work that way. Because you're thinking of yourself as a good person. It's a perspective. It's a perspective. I can say I'm a good person. Yeah, I am. But, I got my moments. And those count. The universe isn't just overlooking it because, most of the time you're nice, so this one time you were mean, I'll overlook that. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. But the key is understanding how things work. But even before you fully understand how everything works, and even if you never understand fully how things work, one of the important things to understand is that you have to raise your vibrations. And this is about being a match for what you want to attract into your life, the life you're wanting to live. You want a more abundant life, and you also want a life where you're protected. You're not having to worry about being psychically attacked, spiritually attacked. You're not having to worry about picking up any energy parasites or anything like that, or being able to easily get rid of them. Well, then the key is raise your vibrations. Raise your vibrations so that you are not on the same level or close to the same level as those things. And I mean, yeah, I am talking about as simply as you don't want to deal with fifth graders, don't be a fifth grade teacher. I know it sounds so simple, and it's like, okay, of course I understand that. Well, yeah, I know you understand it. But that's what I'm talking about. You want to be at a level for what you want to experience, which means you have to work on raising your vibrations, and just meditating won't do it. Meditating, what it does is it helps to retrain your brain. It helps to train your brain to be quiet so that it's not your negative ego always chattering. So if you're meditating a lot, then I tell you, that is what you're working on. You're not working on anything else. You're not working on spiritually advancing. You're working on retraining your brain to be quiet. You're training your brain not to let your negative ego just run amok and just chatter. That is what you're doing. Now, if you've been under the impression that you've been meditating your butt off every day, and that's a part of your spiritual work, not necessarily true. Because I would have to say to you, okay, well, what else are you doing? Is that it? And then if you tell me, oh, well, I'm trying to be a good person. Okay, so basically what you told me is you don't have a spiritual practice. Now, I know I sound like I'm coming off a little bit harsh. I don't mean to, but I want you to understand it. That's why I'm like saying, well, okay, are you really understanding what I've been talking about and what I've been explaining? Are you really understanding me to the point where you can really adequately help yourself advance, get to the highest heights, where you're not only going to be living an abundant life, a blessed life, but you're going to have some power to help people. You're going to have power in your energy work, in your energy healing skills. If that is what you want, and the main gist of what you've been doing every day is mainly just meditating, no, I would actually say, like, okay, here's an example. If you're meditating more than 30 minutes, like, so let's say you're meditating an hour every day, I would actually say, you know what, do yourself a favor, help yourself, drop that down to 30-minute meditation. Focus on that 30 minutes being effective, meaning meditation on nothing, passive meditation on nothing, and trying to get deep in the meditation. And that time, that additional time you won't be meditating, put it to good use. Chant for 30 minutes, chant the violet flame decree as you're visualizing yourself surrounded by the violet light. Or chant a decree for abundance. Or chant a mantra that's meant for protection. Or chant the white Tara Buddha mantra. Or chant the medicine Buddha mantra is very good and very effective. But if you're doing like more than 30 minutes, I'm just advising you, just for right now, I'm not saying for the rest of your life, but just for right now, drop that down to 30 minutes and use that time, the rest of that time, to actually be doing something that is going to give you the result of permanently raising your vibration. Okay, so because here's the thing. Notice I'm talking about protection and abundance. Okay, so as far as abundance, you gotta be, well, first of all, the universe does have to owe you something, but also you gotta be at an abundant level. At an abundant level, that means you're at a higher vibratory level. Unless you really believe that the person that's sitting at the lowest vibratory level is very abundant. No, the only thing they're really attracting, if you think about it, is they're attracting usually more negative things into their life, more evil things. The people even that they're meeting are more on that level of, they might be meeting people who they coincidentally meet people and run into that are doing dark arts and things. They're attracting more of that. So you're not at that level. You're not at that lowest level. But you gotta understand, to attract the type of abundance you want and the type of protection you want, that can only be done by raising your vibrations so that they're as high as you possibly can get them, so that you're basically just walking through life not even having to worry about it, because nothing can affect you, nothing can hurt you, nothing can hardly touch you, and abundance comes easily, because abundance just then simply comes with a thought of I want or I need. And actually, it then, if your vibrations are high enough and the thoughts that you have, then easily trigger a response, easily trigger that flow of it coming to you and coming to you quickly. So that's the reason why I have the word abundance and protection in the title, because when I speak to you about raising your vibrations as high as possible permanently, now understand, I'm not talking about, okay, so let's say, for example, I'm going to meditate. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to meditate. Okay, well, meditation does temporarily raise your vibrations. But then so does watching, let's say, a comedy show that makes you laugh your butt off. Even in that instance, your vibrations are temporarily raised. Thinking of something, like, say, think of something that happened to you in your life that made you feel just the greatest amount of love or something like that. Like when your first child was born, when the doctor put them in your arms. Do you remember that feeling you had? Okay, so if right now I asked you to reconnect with that feeling, feel it again, remember how it felt, feel it again, guess what? It's going to temporarily raise your vibrations. So I haven't been talking about temporarily raising your vibrations. I haven't been talking about, oh, before you're getting ready to do a reading, do some really deep breathing. That will raise your vibrations temporarily as well. Be around high vibrating people. Okay, then your vibrations during the time you're hanging around them will be temporarily raised as well. But what I've been talking about is the need to raise your vibrations permanently, so that you're permanently you're at a higher level. And because, as we know, and as I've said 10,000 times, you can never lose ground. You can never go back. Like, even if you're just like, oh, I'm taking a break. I've worked really hard. I've permanently raised my vibrations pretty high. Now I'm going to take a break. I'm just going to go. I think I'm going to go off. My goal is going to be just to have some fun for a while. And you don't do any spiritual work. You don't do any spiritual practices, nothing. You're not going to lose ground. You think the level you gain is going to be taken away from you? No, it's not. Guess what? You can't lose ground. You can then step back into it and be like, oh, okay, I'm ready to get back into it. You're just basically going to be taking up from where you left off. You didn't lose any ground. So what I'm saying is, there are so many reasons why you should sacrifice the time to permanently raise your vibration. Now, here's the thing. If any of you feel that you are on a spiritual, metaphysical path, and you're like, yeah, I'm trying to advance, Well, you gotta understand that the thought should, okay, there's always sacrifice, is I guess what I'm trying to say, is that when it comes to advancement, especially spiritual advancement, there's always a sacrifice you have to make. This doesn't come free or easy. You know, it's not, this isn't something that's just being given away. Those who get it prove themselves. That's why you're doing the spiritual work. At the same time, you're proving yourself. You're proving to spirit, to the universe, to God, your true heart, your dedication. You're proving to God how much you honor him. But you're also proving it by way of the sacrifices you make in order to get to where you're going to. And some people think they understand totally like what sacrifice is. Oh yeah, I understand, no, sacrifice, I mean sacrifice, even sacrifice when it comes to time. When it comes to the time that you're going to have to spend doing spiritual work, you have to understand that is a sacrifice you're making, and the sacrifice is your time. Because maybe you're going to be doing your spiritual work, and then when friends come along, hey, on Sunday, you want a whole bunch of us, we all get together and we go out to brunch, or let's all get together and go bowling, or or go to the movies, or there's this new restaurant. Well, the sacrifice is that you may have to say, oh, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to do that. But I'm going to have to pass this time. Why? Because you know that every day you're working at it. Every day you're not taking any breaks. No. You mean to get this done. You're serious now. You're not fooling around anymore. Which means you're going to sacrifice that opportunity to go Sunday have fun with your friends. Because why? If it doesn't matter to you, if skipping a day of your spiritual work doesn't matter to you, I'd have to question if you're really, are you really serious about your advancement? Because I can understand skipping a day. Sometimes things do happen, like a loved one needs your help. Yes, of course. Go help your loved one. Because remember, you are God made manifest. Act like you are God. God would help them. Go help them. So there are going to be times when you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to be over there almost all day because helping them, I don't know when I'm going to get the spiritual. So sometimes you're not going to get the spiritual work in. Excuse me. Sorry. Sometimes you may have to skip a day because something like that came up. There are some things that are going to come up where there's a good reason for you to end up missing doing spiritual work that day. And I always had a plan B. My plan B was always, what's the least amount I will do, even if something comes up. So for me, the least amount I would do is get a 15-minute meditation in and then chant the Violet Flame Decree at any time during the day, whether I was driving, doing laundry, getting ready to fall asleep, laying in the bed, getting ready to fall asleep. I would just get that in. So do that for yourself. Just have a plan B, like, what's the least, when things come up, what's the least I will do? What's going to be my practice that day? But just remember, it's okay to make the sacrifice now because, I'm sorry, I'm coughing. I had a grilled cheese sandwich earlier, and that's one of my favorites. Nachos and grilled cheese sandwiches. But oh my goodness, I suffer for it. I stay away from cheese. So I can go, I'm pretty good about that. I can go a month and not have grilled cheese. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I really want one. And then I suffer for it for the next 2 days with the congestion from the cheese. Don't do what I do. Don't follow. Sometimes I have to say, no, don't do what I do. You know, because, every now and then, we let ourselves do these things to ourselves, because we just can't resist. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, cheesecake. I haven't had cheesecake in such a long time. And we may know it's not going to sit right with us. We know what's going to happen when we eat it, but we get in our minds. It's like, oh, I can just, I can smell it right now. I can taste it. Oh, the texture. And you give in. So don't do what I do. But anyway, this isn't going to be the only conversation I have with you about this. We're going to go even deeper. But I wanted to get you started because many of you I'm talking to, and you're working on yourselves, and you're doing, but you don't have like all the pieces. You're like, okay, I know where I need to get to, and then I know I need the protection, and then I know I need the abundance. I know I need things in my life to work out, but I don't know what should I be doing to make those things happen. And so I know it seems confusing and complicated, but that's why I'm gonna keep doing the videos, and we're just gonna keep going deeper and deeper. But for right now, let's start here. 15 to 30-minute meditation, and then at least give me 30 minutes. And I don't care if it doesn't have to be all at one time. I don't care if you do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes all at one time, but give me 30 minutes of things like chanting the Violet Flame Decree, chanting the Medicine Buddha mantra. No, you can't just listen to it. You actually have to make the sound. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to do the reminder. The reason why I always say, whenever you can, chant your prayers, your decrees, your mantras out loud, because when you speak a thing, vibration goes through your body. Vibration is what will then affect the chakras. Even though you may not be able to feel it when that happens, that is what happens. That's what makes saying mantras, prayers, decrees, everything out loud effective. And do not say it in a solemn way. If you need to put a smile on your face while you say it to make sure you say it the right way, put a smile on your face as you're saying it. Because you're not supposed to be, because like for example, decrees, you're affirming a thing. What I mean is you're telling the universe, you're stating to the universe through a decree what is true. So if, like, let's say the decree says, let's take the Violet Flame Decree. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm getting so old. Do you know that just flew right out of my head? I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. Oh my gosh. Oh, that just like literally flew right out of my head. As soon as I said that, I saw the words just fly away. I am a being of violet fire. I am the purity God desires. Okay, so a decree is that you are affirming a thing. You're telling the universe what is true. The universe then is following suit. Oh, wow. She's telling me that's what's true, so I got to try to balance everything out to make that be true. You understand? So you are reaffirming the truth. So if you say, I am powerful, I am this, I am that, you are reaffirming it. You are telling not only the universe, but by saying it out loud and that vibration going through your body, your head, hitting your crown chakra, everything, you are even telling your whole body and every level of it, every part of it, what is true. So we're getting everything in line and on the same page, right? So we want every part of ourselves, even and then the universe, to be on board with us about this, about what is true. So that's why I said, no, you cannot, don't say the decrees and the mantras in a solemn way. No, you need to say it as though, okay, imagine this. Let's say you were a king or a queen and you were ruling a country, and you're having, um, the people from your country. I'm not going to call them peasants or anything. They're coming for you. They're being brought to you. Maybe they did something wrong, and now they're being brought before you. You're not just going to be like, yeah, hey Tommy, how's it going? How's the family doing? How have you been? I am surprised you're here in front of me. No, aren't you going to be like king like, queen like? Even if you do know that person, or like before I became king, me and Tommy were cool. We hung out. We were like brothers. No, but you're king now. Well, what else can we equate that with? You're king. You're God. You're good in this lifetime, in the body. You're God made manifest in the human body. No, it. You have to be more king and queen like, where I'm in charge. I'm telling you what's true. I'm commanding a thing. If you're gonna command a thing, are you gonna sound like, yeah, so like, I'm gonna have to do this to you. I'm really sorry. You're not gonna sound like that. You're gonna be like, okay, look, you screwed up. This is what's going to happen to you. You're going to be like a little bit more forceful, right? Okay, so if you're trying to understand what I'm getting at, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, no, you're affirming a thing. You're almost commanding it. You're almost forcefully stating what is true. You're like, okay, everybody, all of us have gotten into disputes with people over our opinions, right? And you know how you get really passionate over what you think. You really speak up for yourself. That's what I'm talking about. When you say prayers, decrees, mantras, you need to say them with, I think they call it fervor, I think. So you need to say it like that. You need to say it in a strongly passionate way. If you do it right, it should at times almost bring you to tears. The reason why I say this is because it should, if you say it right, it should actually at times affect you as you're saying it the right way, and you're thinking about what you're saying. That's the other thing. Don't just say decrees, mantras, and prayers without at the same time meditating on it, meaning as you're saying it, contemplate what you're saying and what you're saying is true and what that means. Whenever I say the Hail Mary prayer, what I'm doing at the time I'm saying it is I'm thinking about what the words mean, what they mean to me. I'm thinking of, Mother Mary. I'm thinking of the feminine aspect of God and what that means. So I'm not just repeatedly saying it without there being any contemplation. No, it's kind of like when you say the rosary, when you get to the revolutions of the Hail Mary, that's what they say. You say the Hail Mary as you meditate on the mysteries, one of the mysteries of Jesus. Well, when they say that, what they're getting at is, okay, so as you're saying the Hail Mary, you're supposed to be thinking about that mystery and contemplating the meaning, contemplating everything about it, contemplating understanding. Okay, so there is no saying it without thinking about it, without contemplating it, even thinking about what it means to you. So like I said, to start with, that's all I want you to do. If you're doing more meditation than 30 minutes, drop it down to 30 minutes in that. And then give an additional 30 minutes, even if it's broken up, chanting decrees, mantras, prayer out loud. Now, if if you don't have the time, then I would say, okay, well then maybe as you're falling asleep, if you live alone and you're not going to keep anybody awake, yeah, you could say it out loud as you're falling asleep. There's always times when we're alone. Like, say, for example, we go to the bathroom. A lot of times, even where we work, if we don't work at a place that's too large, it's not unusual when you go to the bathroom, you're the only one in there. There are opportunities. You just have to find yours. When you're in the car driving to work, I mean, I don't care what show you're used to listening to on the radio when you drive to work. You remember what I told you about sacrifice. Turn the radio off. That show is probably a year from now still going to be on the air in the mornings. But for right now, do this because this is more important. Turn the radio off and, chant your mantra, decree, or whatever. So that's where we're starting at. Now, as I do another video, we're going to keep going deeper. We're going to keep going deeper because we want to make sure you understand not only what you're doing, but we want to add to this. We want to add to this a little bit. And we also want to add understanding to this, because often if you can understand how things work, the direction you're heading in, where you're getting to, what that means, benefits of it for you, it becomes easier for you. Excuse me. Then it becomes easier for you to get there. I'm so sorry. So that's where we're starting right now. So yes, we will be going deeper and deeper into protection and abundance so that you will understand. I'm going to try to take you all the way there. But in order for me to take you all the way there, I need you to do this. Don't just listen to this video, then not do it and be like, oh, I'm waiting for your next video. No, you ain't. No, you're not. You're waiting for my next video if you're ready for it. If you're ready for it, that means you've been doing what I asked you to do. You're never waiting on me. I'm waiting on you so that I can give you more. I can share with you more. Sorry about that. I had to mute myself. So anyway, I really appreciate you, and I hope you understand. I hope none of you are just like, oh man, what a jerk she is. No, I'm not trying to be a jerk to you. I'm trying to say I really do want to share everything with you and take you to where you want to get to. But in order to do that, I really need you to kind of get on board with everything and not just listen to me talking about it. I need you to jump on board and do it. I need you to take action. I need you to make a little bit of sacrifice, even if we're just talking, not listening to the radio when you're in the car, giving more of your time at some point during the day to do that 30 minutes of chanting, mantras, decrees, or prayers. And yes, I'll get into it later, but yes, it does. These have to be high vibrating prayers. I better not hear any one of you say, oh yeah, I've been doing affirmations. I didn't say affirmations, because everything that I said was high vibrating. Affirmations aren't necessarily high vibrating. I actually don't know that many people that know how to actually write a high vibrating affirmation. Just because you write an affirmation doesn't mean it'll be effective. Prayers that are effective, definitely Hail Mary, the Lord's Prayer. Now I say the Lord's Prayer that's a little bit adjusted. The Lord's Prayer that I say, if you look up if you Google Elizabeth Clare Prophet Lord's Prayer, you'll find the version that I say. It's very powerful. You can't say that version of that prayer and it not really touch you, really affect you. So as far as prayers, psalms, some people like to read out loud psalms. Okay, that's something else that's effective. That would be high vibrating as well. Okay, so pretty much all decrees and mantras are high vibrating. So literally, whether you say the medicine Buddha mantra or another mantra you came across, they're all high vibrating and they're all very effective. Decrees, they are written in a way where they are using high vibrating words. I am, for example, is a high vibrating phrase. The name of God, I am that I am, is a high vibrating phrase. So if you want to just simply chant repeatedly over and over, I am that I am, or you want to say it in Hebrew, Asher, Eheye, Asher, Eheye. If you want to say it in Hebrew repeatedly, you can do that. Now, if you search for Cryon, Kryon, if you search Cryon and names of God in Hebrew, he's got it on his website. It's so nice the way he did it, because he gives it to you. The pronunciation is written out, and then he even has the audio clip for you to listen to, and then he has a short write-up about it. It's a great way to learn the different names of God in Hebrew and their significance. So that's another thing you could do. You can just repeatedly say, I am that I am, or I am that I am in Hebrew, repeatedly. Now, some people like to kind of make up their own, and start it with I am powerful, I am this, I am that. However, a lot of the times the way the decrees are written, they're written so that you're going to achieve certain things based on what you're saying. So, really, honestly, the book, The Human Aura by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, tons of decrees in that book. That's where all the decrees I say have come from. They've got decrees for everything. It's awesome. And as well, they've got some prayers. They've got some that are more written like poetry. I am a flight of fancy, I think is what it's called. I am a flight of fantasy, not fantasy. But anyway, there is this poem that's in there that is just so awesome, so beautiful, so touching, and still high vibrating. I used to know it actually by heart, because I actually used to say it as one of my decrees repeatedly, and I said it so much that at one point I had it memorized. It's kind of long, but believe me, if you chant anything repeatedly for even a short period of time, you're going to realize your brain eventually holds on to it so easily that if you just start saying it, the words just come flying out. It would effortlessly. So don't worry about, whether or not you'll get some of the decrees and mantras memorized. Believe me, it will happen easily. Just do it. All you have to do is just do it. And it'll happen easily. You'll be amazed that in a very short amount of time, you're like, oh wow, I just know all these decrees just like it's nothing. But anyway, so we're going to continue this discussion and continue getting deeper and deeper. And it's not just going to be about this discussion and the work you're doing. We're also going to talk about um, some things that you can get for yourself that is aimed at protecting yourself, such as Oregon. We're going to talk a little bit about crystals. We're going to talk a little bit about gridding your house or gridding your property and how that works and how to do it. And so we're going to just keep going deeper and deeper and adding more and more and more. But I want you to be ready for it. And to be ready for it, I need you to work along with me. Don't just listen and not do anything and not take action. I need you to be doing the work every day. Okay, so remember, you can find me at sherryspeaks.com. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do for me. I hope everybody is hanging in there with how hot it's been and with the gas prices. I hope you're managing to still smile, enjoy yourself, and be happy every day. Um, okay, until later, have a great night, great day. Namaste.